Shit, what's this podcast called?
Discourse of Human Events.
The discourse is just crazy.
Everything's okay, I'm just trying to act my age. Yeah, I wanna know where the hell the days go. Yeah, I wanna know where the hell the days go. I wanna look and feel years younger, baby. I wanna look.
Alright, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Dildo. Alright, so we're talking about the Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week and how Corey's slowly moving towards that.
I'm sure
But
trying.
it's your boss that's allowing that.
Right. So they've been
Now, what were you saying now?
the company I work for has been nagging the CIO for years now to try.
What's
this.
CIO?
Chief Information Officer.
Okay, so it's
He's
like the
the-
big wig of the IT department.
Right. So like there's the directors of IT, and then above him is the Chief Information Officer.
They always have to have a C something O
Right.
position, right?
There's a dozen of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so finally they put together a committee of directors, and they sat down and discussed the parameters. And at first they were going to black out Mondays and Fridays because they assumed that if you weren't working a Monday or Friday, you're sitting at home doing nothing. And one of them brought up the fact that golf courses are open 7 days a week, so what difference does it make which day?
Yeah. Which is funny,
So-
brought up golf courses for
Right.
nerds.
Well, it's also the management and
Uh-huh.
anybody that doesn't have a job that requires you to be there.
Okay, so they're talking about for full staff that
Right.
it can make sense for.
So, and their go-to assumption is that all these people are playing golf. And let's be honest, if I was skipping work, I'm not playing golf.
Yeah, obviously not.
But it's a good example, you know. It's always open. It's not like you have to do it on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Friday is
start-
just the big day because we're forced to have that as the day or night we do things.
right. So they're gonna. It's for most people. It starts next week, but my boss has been on vacation for 2 weeks, so it'll be the week after he gets back. We'll start our program. And there's 8 people on my team, so we can afford to have more than one person out a day. So we don't have to, like, divvy up the days quite so much as some of the other teams.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, like, that's awesome that your company's doing that. And more companies need to think like that.
And the weird part is, I think it was Intel just ended their work-from-home program because it was being abused too much.
Yeah, they're like a bigger company,
Right.
so I could see that. But other companies have people that work from home all the time.
Right. And what it comes down to is you still have to school yourself and know you have to work, you have to be
Yeah.
available. Me and another one of the guys, we both live more than an hour away. So
Yeah.
our rules are slightly different. Like, we have to be dressed like we're going to work in case something were to happen that we have to go to work. But I'm an hour and a half away, so even if there's something I have to go to work right now, it's
Yeah.
still going to take me that long to get there.
I'd say it's not like the added 10 minutes of changing is going to make a big difference.
Right. And like I said, there's no, besides meetings, there's nothing I have to be in person for to do my job.
Even meetings you don't need to be in person for.
Right.
There's teleconferencing.
Right. So we have WebEx, like
Yeah.
we use, and that's our exact point. There's just 3 meetings a month that they require we're there for. And one of them's not even a month, one's a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, my director, who's a very nice lady, does a monthly meeting with her entire team, and she wants us there in person. So 1 Monday a month, you have to be there. And nothing says you have to be there all day. Her meeting's at 1 o'clock. The
Yeah.
people that live in Columbus can just come in for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then go back home.
But so how do they track your productivity, though? How are they going to show that, okay, Corey has been just as productive at home as opposed to being here?
So our work is tracked already through a ticketing system.
Okay.
And I don't get a lot of what they call incidents, which are break fix. Like a server broke and I have to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of changes to the infrastructure, so like updates and stuff like that. And I put my own tickets in every time I do one of those.
To track that you're doing something.
Right, and because some of it I have to get permission from my boss. Like, he has to approve the change before I can do it. So
Gotcha.
I put it in, he approves it, and that covers me. So, like, if I did an update and it screwed something up,
It would be
come back
tracked and know.
Right. And they'd come back to me and be like, why did you do this? Or did you, what
Did
was
you
your
get approval?
process on this? And I'd be like, hey, my boss said this wasn't going to cause a problem either.
Yeah.
And so the buck stops at him rather than me.
Huh.
And there's been some things that we've been doing lately where we figured out the scope was bigger than we thought, and it had to go to his boss. So now I have a director saying, yes, you can do this change whenever you have the approval for it.
Yeah, so your goal is to make a billion tickets on your days you work from home.
Right. Just to make sure they know I'm as productive or more productive sitting in my office that I'm sitting in now.
More productive is the key.
Yeah.
Try and get it to be more productive. The office job I had, I swear, I could waste 90% of my time easy while I was there.
Right. Well, and like my job, I do a lot of research and I do a lot of planning for after hours stuff because some of my stuff I can't do in production because I can't take down like a EKG machine during the middle of the day.
Yeah.
They're going to be using that. So we have to do a lot of stuff scheduled after hours.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of my day is preparing for what I'm going to do that night or a night in the future. And then, like, say there's a new server build. We build from an image. So I go deploy a new server. It takes an hour to do that. I have to fill that hour with something. If I'm here, I can find more stuff to do than if I'm sitting at my desk at work because I've got a much better setup at home than I have at work. Like,
That's
here
a
at
funny
home,
point, yeah.
I'm
You got
rocking-
multiple computers and shit.
Yeah, I've got my laptop sitting here, my computer sitting here. My computer has two 27-inch monitors, which is better than what I've got at work. And my just computer in general is a better computer than what I'm working with.
Yeah, things will be faster just normally because you can actually multitask when you need to.
Right.
Like while you're writing an image over here, while that's loading, you can go do something else.
Right. And because when I'm at work, like I have my laptop and everything, but I do most of my work from a server, which is set up remotely, just like everything else. And I can access that exact same server from home. So I've got the server on one screen, and I've got, what I'm working on my other screen, and I can multitask because I can still hit my regular computer from here as well.
Yeah, that's awesome that they're doing that, though, that you actually have bosses that are capable of seeing you don't really have to be here for this.
Right. And I feel bad for the people that I work with that this isn't an option.
Yeah.
Like 6 months ago, the job I had in Mansfield, this isn't an option. As a desktop person, I have to be in the office to do my job.
Yeah.
But as a server person, I work remote.
That's the benefit
while
you
I'm
get,
there.
though, for knowing
Yeah.
how to do that stuff.
And it'll be awesome.
Well, you went into that kind of job, so now you get that benefit.
Right.
It's the only reason I'm doing the job I do now is because it is a flexible schedule.
And that was the other thing. When I talked, they asked me what my opinion of it was when I got hired on. And I'm like, when I drive to Columbus, I wake up at 5 a.m., I leave by 6 a.m., and I try to be in the office 7:15.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, my hours aren't going to change much at all if I'm working from home. Because I've had first shift jobs my entire life, except for a little bit when I first started at the hospital.
Yeah.
And I don't have the ability to sleep in anymore. So I'm still going to be up by 6. And if I'm up at 6 and I put some clothes on and sit down, I'm working by 6:15. So
yeah.
I'm going to get more stuff done early. And people are always worried about, you're going to clock out early and walk away, even though we don't clock. Any salary people don't clock at Ohio Health.
Yeah.
But
because there's no reason for you to do that.
right, they trust that you're there.
Get your work done. That
Right.
should be all jobs. Just get your work done.
So if I start at 6, then my 8 hours puts me done by 2:30. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
And that works out better for me because then I'm in town, I can get stuff done and schedule my doctor's appointments for 3 o'clock and not have to worry about things.
See, that's the funny thing that I saw with the job I had is I almost had to waste time because I had maybe 10 hours worth of work for a whole week. And so it's
Right.
like, okay, I know if I get all this shit done on Monday, I will literally have like nothing to do. So I'm going to goof off each day and do a couple hours each day, and then it'll be done at the end of the week, and it'll look like I work every single day.
Right, and one of my previous jobs, it was a little bit more than 10 hours, but they wanted me there, let's say I had 20 hours worth of work to do.
Yeah.
They wanted me there more than 40 hours by the time I quit,
Yeah.
but wanted to know what I was doing all day. And I'm like, I'm here mostly because if something breaks, you want me here. Like, my day starts at 7, and they wanted me to stay till 5, 3 days a week. I'm like, you want me here till 5 in case something breaks on those days.
Yeah, basically.
I'm not the one saying I need to work 10-hour days. You are.
Yep.
And then, a week after they do that, they're like, well, what are you doing this entire time? And I'm like, planning everything you've asked me to do. And at the time, I was also working on a brand new website for the company and some other stuff. I'm like, I'm coding a lot.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, you're asking an IT person what they do all day. I'm all over the place. Like,
browsing Reddit.
reading books, whatever,
That's what I would do. I would just be like, okay, I guess I would bring in my personal laptop, because I would tell them, I prefer to use my own laptop because it's easier and faster. Same reason you would bring in your own laptop. And then I would bring up all my game stuff and start working on a game or something that I'm working on.
I've really gotten into Audible since I started driving.
Yeah.
And there's also a dozen or so apps you can get for your phone where you can just get free audiobooks. And my big thing lately is while I work, I listen to books.
Yep.
And that's led to me finding really some hilarious stuff that's on Amazon that I never would have found. And
like, what do you mean?
I found a couple really good books. Hang on, I'll bring up.
Oh, like hilarious books. Okay.
Yeah, like some of the best comedy sci-fi I've ever read. And a couple
comedy
of them are...
sci-fi. That's not a genre I think I really dipped into for book-wise.
Alright, so there's this book, the one that's got me rolling that I love. It's called We Are Legion, and then parentheses it says We Are Bob. And the general gist, without giving away the whole story, is there's this guy, Bob, and he writes this computer program and sells it and makes $1 million or whatever. And the day he sells his company, he signs up to have his head frozen if he ever dies. So, like, they can bring him back and put his head in a new body or whatever.
Futurama style?
Right. So, a whole bunch of shit happens in American politics, as it will. And the country's taken over by a theocracy, and they deem it heresy for anyone to have frozen their head because they're superseding God or whatever.
Gotcha.
Right. And so they give all the heads to these scientists to do with what they wish. Like the state takes the money that they had set aside and gives the brains to these scientists, and they put them in a computer matrix, and they're going to send them into space. As like
what?
They essentially turn them into AI, and they're going to put them into a probe to explore space. And
okay. I think I understand what you're saying now. Okay.
Because
so it's a way to explore like billions of light years away.
Exactly.
Not billions, but light years away.
And it's all about this guy Bob, who was a genius when he was alive, just exploring space and like Earth itself.
It's literally like his floating head in space.
Right, and it gets funnier as he goes because part of his mission is once he gets out there, he has these, super advanced 3D printers where he can make clones of himself. And then he puts a backup copy of himself into the clone, so now there's 2 Bobs.
Uh-huh.
And the first rule he makes is you have to change your name as soon as you come online, because we're not going to have a bunch of Bobs in. And they just off the collar call it quantum irregularities. Each Bob has a slightly different personality, and it's
like
just a hilarious
multiplicity.
story. Yeah, they don't necessarily get dumber like multiplicity. They just get a little bit different. Like the little quirks that are your personality.
Okay,
certain things are more prevalent in each Bob.
Yeah,
like some of them are more bitchy, and some of them are bigger clowns. What have you? There's 2 out so far, and the guy's putting one out like every year. So
this is a goddamn series.
Yeah,
about Bob floating in space.
Yeah, because there's also there's a war on Earth that almost wipes out humanity. So he goes out to find a place for humanity to move to, and then he's not the only probe out there. Other countries that we're at war with had probes, so he does space battles with them. And
dude, this does sound like a fucking sweet book, to be honest.
Yeah, and because Bob is
such a unique plot.
Right, and Bob's such a nerd that it's got Ready Player One style throwbacks to just culture that we're into.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of Star Wars and Star Trek stuff. Like he's got an AI that they call Guppy that he makes, he builds his own VR system to keep himself sane, and his AI looks like Admiral Akbar.
I gotta say, that's one of my nerd cards I don't have. Star Wars nor Star Trek.
Star Wars I watch, but it's not. I don't have the love fest that some of these people do.
Yes, I definitely don't have the love fest for it.
If we go Star Trek, I like Picard's and Next Generation a lot more than the originals.
I couldn't even watch the originals. I got 2 in, and I'm like, I can't watch this. This is too dated.
Right, and some of the newer ones were all right. I love the new action ones that are out, the
the movies. Yeah, that's the only thing that actually got me into Star Trek a little bit, was watching those. But I feel I think Star Trek's one of those things where it becomes dated because everyone copies it.
Right.
And their new science fiction type shows.
And then you also have, technology in our current time is now more advanced than what they were using.
Exactly. That's the other thing.
Wrong. There's a special that was on Netflix a while back called How William Shatner Shaped the Future. Mm-hmm. And I think they should have given the credit to the writer of
why
Star
Shatner
Trek.
Getting credit for stuff written in there?
But it goes through all these engineers that took ideas from Star Trek and said, all right, now how do I make
something like that?
An approximation of it. And the first thing they talk about, because I think it was a 12-episode series, was flip phones.
Yeah.
The idea of a cell phone, and that came from the tricorders from Star Trek, and the guy's like, all right, how do I make this into a communication device?
Yeah.
And that's where that all came from.
Yeah. That's always one of the great things about a sci-fi film, is people do get inspired to invent things based off of those.
Right. And
but none of them got the internet.
Right.
That's the problem. We see the internet, and then we see Star Trek, and wait, they're not, they don't even have the internet.
There are some books that guessed at the internet coming.
Yeah, I've seen those. It's just fucking weird.
Asimov was real good about guessing about shit like that.
Yeah. It's just, I wouldn't think of it, but it makes sense. That something where you can communicate and get information almost instantaneously. It makes sense of why that's so big. But it seems hard to think of.
The one that always makes me laugh, and I don't know if you ever watch crack.com videos.
Every now and then. If it's on Reddit, basically.
They had one where they were talking about Demolition Man.
Yeah.
And how it got a lot of things right. And that was one of the first movies where you ever saw a handheld computer.
Yeah.
And Skyping like, not Skype necessarily, but video conferencing over a tablet.
They had the benefit, though, of having the internet around for a couple years to extrapolate where can this go.
And then, what was the other one that they guessed? I think in that video, the other thing they guessed was a murderer named Scott Peterson, which is the guy who killed his wife. Yeah, when they're going to defrost Stallone, one of the other people that were in for murder was Scott Peterson. That's
such a random one.
Yeah. And then, Taco Bell being gourmet food. They might have missed a little on that one.
I need to go back and watch it, because Nick had mentioned it before, too. And it's a good movie. I remember it being good.
It halfway holds up to time. So
halfway.
And that's more than I expect from...
They had self-driving cars in there, too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like, you could turn it to manual, or it would self-drive.
I'm amazed that those actually weren't... what's that company that is in all tech movies now? Audis. Audi is... Anytime you have a movie where it's like a super hyper futuristic cars, it's...
Really?
Almost always an Audi.
Why Audi? Is it just a sleek-looking kind of car?
Yeah, they have a couple models of their super high-end that are real sleek-looking. Like, if you look up iRobot, the auto-driving cars in that were all Audis.
Well, now it's going to be like all Teslas or like Google cars, where it's just like, it's not necessarily built to look cool, because if they all become self-driving, we might not actually own the car, so we don't need it to look cool. We just need it to go where we need to go. So there's no, like, the transit system in Columbus, they don't try to look cool with their different buses.
Right. Or, like, even the taxi companies now are being more utilitarian about the way their taxis look.
Exactly.
In Chicago, almost all the taxis were Scion XBs, the boxes. It doesn't need to be a pretty car anymore. Just get me a car that can comfortably seat 4 people.
Every Uber I've gotten has either been black or silver. Like
that doesn't surprise me.
A nice black or a nice silver car. You're not going to get like a red Porsche doing an Uber. Though that would be cool.
Right. Well,
that'd be sweet,
you
actually.
say that, but have you ever looked at the, what's it called, Uber Black service? It's high-end Ubers.
Oh, so you could get like a Ferrari or something crazy?
Well, it's like, I think it's more like a Benz comes and gets you, or...
okay.
Like a
luxury car.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be fucking sweet, though, to have like the next level of Uber Black. But the problem is, if you can afford that car, you're not doing Uber.
Right. Well, like, what I was thinking it would be used for is if you wanted to impress a date. And you get somebody to come pick you up in that, and it looks like you have a car service coming to get you, and you're paying Uber prices for...
I bet you a lot of people do use Uber for proms and stuff now.
Yeah.
Instead of that's much cheaper than renting a car, I'm sure.
So, I'm going to be coming down... I'm pretty sure I'm going to go to Origin this year. And my plan is to park my car at work, where I have a lot that's protected, and then just have Uber pick me up and take me downtown. Because where I work isn't that far from the convention center.
I was going to say, why don't you just fucking park here, man?
Oh, that's doable as well.
Yeah.
But that's
and then I could just drive you there, and you wouldn't have to pay for an Uber.
We took Uber... Because I was with some lazy people on Cinco de Mayo. We took Uber to downtown.
That's because you're probably drinking.
I was sober Sally that weekend. I got to be the DD.
Yeah. Okay.
But, we took one, and I saw the Uber Black thing, and I'm like, if it wasn't so much more money, I would gladly go ahead and just order one of those.
Yeah. Lyft is actually pretty big now in Columbus, so you actually have some options. Yeah, Lyft has done like this big push lately. Like, I hear them being advertised on all the podcasts now. Like, Uber must stop paying podcasts, so everyone switched over to Lyft.
Well, and there was a kind of a fallout with Uber treating some of their drivers like crap.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the big things is, like, as a driver, I drove for Uber for a little bit. I wouldn't do it again because you don't get tips. So I feel like with Lyft, you have that ability to create an atmosphere within your car for a reason. Now you can create, like, an experience within your car and you get bigger tips.
See, I always tip my Uber drivers. Like, I always take cash when I'm going to be down there, and I'll tip an Uber driver.
I can't do it, man. No, can't. If you're driving for Uber, I never got offered a tip when I was driving for Uber. I mean, I only did it for a few weeks, but it's like, it's so explicitly stated, most people don't do it. But
I didn't even notice that it's explicitly stated.
Yeah, the couple times I did Uber Eats, it's
Which
like,
I love, by the way.
yeah, it's fucking awesome. It's wishy-washy on they're like, the driver's not expected to get a tip, but you can tip on there, it says.
Right.
And so now it's like, as a driving and delivering pizza, I'm like, fuck, now that I read that, I have to tip anytime you deliver food to me.
So a couple weeks ago, I did this, what's it called, heart chase.
The fuck is a heart chase? Is that like a 5K thing?
Well, instead of doing like a 5K, do you remember Field Day from high school?
Dude, yeah.
Alright, so it's Field Day for adults. You
Fuck
go around
yeah.
to these 12 or 13 stations, and you do like little physical challenges or guess the calories in this object.
Dude, I want that so bad in my life.
Yeah, so they're awesome little things. And we're on the last one, and the last one for our group was to put together a puzzle of big empty boxes, and it's supposed to say like it says I heart chase on it. So I'm bending over to move this empty box and pinch the sciatic nerve in my back.
Oof.
Yeah. So I'm down all day Saturday, and it was a lot of extenuating factors that built up to me hurting it, because I did all these other physical challenges. One of them is run up 8 flights of stairs. And
is there like a time you gotta beat, or it's just run up these fucking stairs?
Yeah, it's all done by points in the thing. Like, you get so many points for each physical challenge.
Okay.
And so last year when we did it, only one person from your team had to run up the stairs. This year they're like, everybody does. So, I did that. There was a bunch of push-ups, and like I even impressed the guy. He didn't think I was going to be able to knock out 15 push-ups, and I did it in, quick, because that's something I've been working on.
Yeah.
And so I get to this last one and pull my back. So I'm down all day Saturday. I'm down all day Sunday. I go to work on Monday, even though it's killing me, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, from my desk to the cafeteria, according to my pedometer, is roughly 2,200 steps. I'm not walking that with my back like this. So I jump on my phone and I'm like, Uber Eats, what do they have in my area?
Dude, Uber Eats is the fucking bomb.
Like,
and
Burger
Amazon
right
has it now too.
Yeah, but they have a spending limit.
Do they?
Excuse me. The few restaurants I was looking at anyway had, like, you had to spend a minimum of $20.
Minimum, okay.
So, like, I would love to have, I don't remember the name of it, but
I think you're right, though. I think I do remember seeing that.
There's a Philly cheesesteak place downtown
Uh-huh.
that Amazon delivers. And while I would love to eat $20 worth of Philly cheesesteaks and poutine, I doubt my doctor would approve the poutine at a minimum, yet alone the cheesesteak.
Yeah, that's one you gotta get like a couple people on if you're getting Philly
Right.
cheesesteaks. You can't eat $20 worth of that.
Oh, I could. I just shouldn't.
I could not eat $20. Well, maybe I could.
If I was smart about it, I probably would have done it and then just stuck one in the fridge at work.
Yeah.
Which is what I should have done. But in my head, I'm like, well, I'll just order 2 things of poutine. No, I shouldn't do that either.
There's times where I'll come home from like a few hours of jiu-jitsu class and I'll have pizza left from Papa John's or something. I'll smash like a whole pizza and I'm like, damn, I just ate a whole pizza. Like, I could have ate something healthy to cover those calories, but that pizza was just staring at me.
And you never do. Like, if you have the opportunity to cheat, you cheat.
Yeah, so true.
Let me make sure I clarify that.
With food.
On food.
It's a good clarification. The
Cause
pussy was just staring at me in the face. I had to eat it. What could I do?
Like, today I had an old coworker call, and she was going to be in Mansfield, and she's like, hey, why don't you come down to this? They do these things the last Friday of every month during the summer called Final Fridays, where they have a band and a bunch of food trucks. And I've been doing really good with food, like dieting, and I haven't been exercising the last 2 weeks because of my back, but dieting, at least we've been staying on track. And I'm like, well, we're here, and that truck over there has beef brisket, and I know it's delicious because I know the people that do good food there. So I'm like, well, the diet's out the window today. Let's go have some beef brisket.
Some fucking beef brisket is good.
Right. So it's hard sometimes to stay on. You're going to cheat when it's in front of you.
You know what's really hard is free pizza.
Right.
That's the hardest.
So the hospital has a Starbucks and a Tim Hortons in it. And people randomly will just go over and buy 24 donuts and bring them over to us.
But they have both a Starbucks and a Tim Hortons?
Yeah.
They have competing companies?
Yeah.
Are they right next to each other?
No, they're on opposite sides of the building.
Okay.
And the Tim Hortons, thankfully, is further away. So if I go over there, I'll just get an iced coffee at Starbucks and come back to my office.
Dude, those Timbits are the fucking bomb.
Right.
They're so good.
So these quote-unquote very generous people I work with will buy 24 donuts and give them to our department every once in a while. And I'm like, I hate you all.
Yeah.
You know,
I've been
there's going to be a crueler in there.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to smash that as soon as I see it.
Oh, donuts in general get me. Unless you have a box full of all chocolate flavored donuts, I'm going to smash as many donuts as possible. If I go to buy donuts, and my coworker has seen this, the coworker that I work with most often, because we'll be like prospecting different towns, and I'll be like, man, I'm really in the mood for a donut. I'm going to go get a donut. But he knows, and I know, when I say I need a donut, I always buy at minimum 3 donuts. It's not even an option to have one donut.
I've gotten it to where sometimes or most of the time, I will limit myself to 2.
I'm still at 3, man. I can't do it.
To make things worse, the path I take to work, so I take 71 to North Broad.
Yes.
And at the intersection of 71 and North Broad is a Tim Hortons. And so I have to look at that frickin' drive-through every day.
Yeah.
And be like, no, Corey, their coffee's gross, and you can't just get donuts.
Their coffee's not too bad.
I really liked iced coffee, or I like iced coffee, and their iced coffee is not good.
I have not had the iced coffee.
At Starbucks, I get sugar-free vanilla iced coffee, and it's all right. It's not too bitter, and that's my problem. I hate the taste of coffee, and it's bitter if you don't get the right stuff in it.
That's what I want is bitter in my coffee. Yeah. I will say, Tim Hortons, one thing is the cups they have for hot coffee are annoying as fuck. I always spill coffee all over myself.
Yeah.
And I am always tempted by the donuts at Tim Hortons, so I always try to go to a Starbucks because I'm not tempted by their food at all.
So their pound cake is the only thing that's ever tempted me.
Yeah.
It's only because it's lemon. I've got an obsession with lemon-flavored food.
Really?
Yeah.
Can't say I've been a big lemon fan.
So that's the only thing that ever gets me. But it's like $4, and I'm not spending that kind of money on a single piece of pound cake.
Yeah, that's also why it's not that tempting. Like if Timbits were like $2 a Timbit, you'd be like, yeah, I'm not gonna get that.
So my serious downfall, and I haven't told Gina about this yet, and she doesn't listen to this, so it's not a huge deal.
Listen yet until I name it, Gina. Listen to this episode.
The Starbucks in the hospital, I can pay for it with my work badge, and it'll just take it right out of my paycheck.
Oh, so there's no tracking of what you buy.
And I'm like, I saw somebody do it, and I'm like, oh, this is the worst thing that could have happened to me today. Instead of my credit card, I hand her my badge.
There's no credibility now. It's over.
Now the positive side is a iced coffee, even a large, is only like $2.50. So
yeah.
I'm not getting like a $6 drink every time.
But dude, that fucking adds up. I was just thinking about that. If I buy Starbucks every day and it's $2.45, well, let's just make it $2.50 to make it easier. And I buy that 5 days a week. That's what, $10, $12. $12 a week, that's $24, $30, $48. I'm almost doing a $50 a month on coffee.
Right. And the sad part about that is, if I owned a normal coffee pot in this house,
Yeah.
I would just make coffee and put it in the fridge. But I think Gina got rid of our regular coffee maker when she got her Keurig, and now
You can't make coffee and fridge it.
right, because I would have to
Yeah.
make 2 cups on that, which takes way too much effort, put it in the fridge, and then I only have 2 cups the next day available. As to where if I had a pot, I could put it in a pitcher, put it in the fridge, and it's good for a few days.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. That's why I kept my normal coffee maker. One, for that reason, if I do want to, like I'm home, I'm going to work from home all day. Instead of having to make a Keurig thing every time I go downstairs to get coffee, I'll just make a pot and I'll just have to pour it.
Right.
And 2, if I have guests over, if I have 4 or 5 people over and they all want coffee, I'm not going to sit here and fucking make 5 Keurig things worth of coffee. I'm just going to make a pot. Right. Yeah. Did you read that thing about the guy who invented Keurigs?
No.
He's all like, he wishes he didn't invent it because of the
waste.
Yeah, the waste that it creates. Like, it's literally one of the worst waste things ever invented.
So, on that note, I had lunch at a place in Columbus this week where everything you ate with or ate on was either biodegradable or reusable.
Really?
Place called, hang on, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this right. It's a Greek word, Braseka.
No, heard of it.
It's a Greek place. It's like a Greek Chipotle. You walk in and you tell them if you want a Greek salad or
This sounds awesome. This is in Columbus?
yeah, it's on High.
Hell yeah.
It's right beside or relatively close to the Big Fun that's down there.
Big Fun. Like what cross section is it close to? Is it close to you on Broad?
It's a little up from that.
High Street's a big street, man.
Right, hang on. It's on North High between Brickell and East Lincoln. It's right there by Good Ale.
Okay.
Just north of 670.
Good. Yeah, that's what I needed to hear. So that is closer to downtown, though.
Yeah.
Way closer.
I think it was like a 10-minute drive back to work after I had lunch there.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
But it was really good, and the reason we went there, with all my allergies, somebody sent me their website, and they have a allergy warning at the bottom, and you click on it, and it tells what allergens are in each item.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a peanut section, and there's nothing in it that has peanuts. They just don't cook with peanuts.
No peanut oil, none of that shit?
Right. So I'm like, of course I have to try this place. And it was delicious. But like their cups, plastic cups, said this is made from corn and is biodegradable. So it's not like an oil-based plastic, it's corn-based plastic.
Huh.
And then like their bowls were all biodegradable, and their forks and spoons are biodegradable.
That's pretty cool, actually. Well, if you notice new K-Cups, they started to do away. You know how they have like that big white plastic around it? They're removing that part, so it's more biodegradable.
That's good.
Have you worked any fast food restaurants?
I worked at Wendy's for 4 weeks.
The amount of waste that goes into any kind of restaurant it's pretty appalling. Like, to actually see, especially fast food, like just the amount of paper that's used just to even make what you're getting is crazy. So
I do have to say, I was surprised. Like, I worked at Wendy's. They, like, the chili reuses meat. And when I say reuses, it's not like gross meat that somebody returned or something. Like, meat that went past the we can serve this right now gets frozen and then put into the chili.
What? I never knew that. I knew it was like the hamburger meat in there,
right,
but I didn't know they did that.
So
that's clever.
It's slightly more ecological, if you want to say, than just having special meat to put in it.
Huh.
That being said, their chili's actually pretty good. So
yeah, I do like Wendy's chili a lot, actually. I just never would have. I knew it was their beef. I didn't know it had already been used or tried to be used.
Right. It was just
say.
cooked the day before, the week before, depending on how long they cycle.
I thought their meat was never frozen.
Their hamburger isn't frozen for hamburgers. Their chili meat is frozen.
Yeah. It's been discovered here on the Discourse of Human Events. We now know the chili meat is frozen. We're on to you. Is there any of their other meat frozen?
No, it was all... It's packaged and shrink-wrapped in the fridge. Cold, not frozen.
Huh.
And I liked the square designs just because it was easy to work with.
What do you mean?
Like, Wendy's burgers are square.
Yeah, but what do you mean it's easy to work with? It's just as
like
easy to flip a circular burger.
No, not that. Like, the way they package it was really cool because it comes in this sleeve, and then they've just got it divided by paper, and it fit perfectly in there.
Oh, because since it's a square, it's easy to box
stack
it.
And you don't have wasted space in a...
Well, couldn't you argue that a square... Oh, in the container. I was about to say the square almost wastes space on the bun. But
Right.
I guess it gives you extra, so maybe it's not wasted space, it's extra space.
I think they had this whole argument in some commercials when I was a kid.
Did they? That's actually... Now I'm kind of like, which does have more meat? Like, how much meat is on a circular...
Weight. Like, if you go with their... Wendy's are... Their normal size are quarter-pounder patties.
Do they have circular burgers, too?
No, theirs are all square.
Okay.
But they're large. They have a small, which is like their junior, and then they have their bigger one that's their regular patty, and those are quarter-pounder pre-cooked, and that's what Wendy or McDonald's sells, quarter-pound.
You got a point that everybody just goes by weight because that's the only accurate way to track meat.
Right.
Not by like how many squares did you use. That's what Arby's did was, because you're using a slicer for all your meat, basically, and so everything was done by weight. Like, when we'd slice, if you ordered a roast beef sandwich or something, we'd have to slice something, and there'd be a scale right next to us that we'd throw the meat on to see if it was how much we needed. Yeah, it's kind of interesting seeing the behind the scenes of the fast food industry.
And what I love, looking even at the not behind the scenes, if you look at the restaurants, and I use that term lightly, anymore, some of them have come a long way and have, like, Wendy's is trying to elevate itself above by having, quality meat and not just random food.
Yeah.
And Burger King used to be the cool place to go, and I don't think I've been to a Burger King in 5 years.
Yeah.
They just have weird shit now. Like, they have Cheetos-covered macaroni and cheese bites.
Burger King has become the bastardization of fast food. They've done like what McDonald's used to be.
Well, they've done what Taco Bell used to be. The place that you're...
Taco Bell is still like that.
Oh, yeah, but...
Taco Bell gives zero fucks about their image. They know stoners are coming there no matter what they do.
And they, let's be honest, they're genius with the fact that they have 5 ingredients and 400 items that you can get in it.
It's a shell. They sell a shell and all the same ingredients.
But I still put them above Burger King at this point, because Burger King has fucking macaroni and cheese bites covered in Cheetos.
Let's be honest. If we're talking all fast food, I probably rank either Wendy's or Taco Bell as my top.
Yeah. Because even McDonald's has gone off the rails in recent years. They have mac and cheese at McDonald's now.
Do they really?
That is KFC's game. You back off.
That's weird. KFC's one I never really
You don't
liked.
think about it until somebody brings it.
Yeah, it's like, it's just one I don't ever, it never enters my mind of, you know what I want right now? KFC.
Right.
It never dawns on me to get KFC.
And I never, it tastes good.
Yeah.
90% of the time, but I never feel good after I have KFC. I'm never I'm glad I made that decision.
Do you feel good after Taco Bell or McDonald's?
Taco Bell doesn't bug me nearly as much as it used to. But I try not to eat any of them as much as possible.
That's the best way to put it.
And Arby's has tried to elevate themselves with their we have more than just roast beef now.
Oh, yeah, that was a big thing they were trying to do when I was working there is...
Because
how can we separate ourselves?
Now.
Yeah, the brisket's a big thing because they, what is it, slow cooked for 24 hours or something like that? I forget the hours.
They actually do proper brisket, which amazes me.
Well, nobody believed that they did it for that long, so they made actually what's called it's actually a record holder for the world's longest commercial, and you can watch it on YouTube. And it just shows an Arby's worker, in the places where they actually cook the meat, put the brisket in an oven, set the timer, and it's literally like however long it is, 12 hours or 18-hour commercial of just the brisket being cooked before they ship it over to the actual store.
That's awesome.
It's like, people literally didn't believe that it was slow cooked like that. They're trying to separate themselves when I worked there, trying to be called fast casual.
Right.
Because, like, Chipotle would be like the casual restaurant, and then McDonald's is the fast food, and then you got normal restaurants where they're like the sit down. They're trying to, like, since they have a drive-through and everything, they wanted to get away from being called fast food, but they weren't casual because you couldn't pick out your ingredients. So they were like trying to rebrand their whole entire thing.
Which Chipotle was kind of a game changer. So
yeah, it really was. Like, how much more would you like Arby's if you could just walk through and make your own sandwich? Like, you don't have to do what they pre-made.
Yeah, you don't have to have the 12 options that are on the board.
Yeah, which is what we did basically behind the line.
Right, when I worked at Wendy's, we made all sorts of weird shit.
Yeah. But then, go ahead.
That's the whole idea of, like, secret menus, though.
Yeah, true. Which Arby's does a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
But I will say, Arby's still has the best Reuben I've ever had.
I've never had their Reuben. I should try that.
It's so damn good, and I've tried Reubens. Like, when I worked at Arby's, I ate the Reuben there so often, I was like, I need to try Reubens at other places and, like, compare it. Nowhere even came close to our Reuben. I don't know what it is about our Reuben, but it's by far the best.
Probably decent real rye bread.
It's something to do with the sauce we use, and yes, they actually use rye bread. Some places don't even use rye bread, and I'm like, well, you've already lost.
We went to a deli for lunch today, and one of the guys ordered a Reuben on wheat. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? That is not a Reuben.
She just slapped it out of his hand like, that ain't a Reuben. Well, they do the New York Reuben, which is like turkey, and it's not on rye bread.
That's weird.
But it's turkey, so it's different. It's a different kind of sandwich, so it doesn't make sense to put it on the rye. But everything else is the same.
Which one is it that you deep fry? Is that a Monte Cristo?
I have no fucking clue. We need a Harry for this one. Chef?
He's playing Heroes of the Storm.
Is he doing Twitch?
No, that's a PC game.
Oh, well, let's advertise his Twitch. What is it? Do you just need his / McWoody?
McWoody, yeah, with zeros.
Zeros instead of O's. Watch McWoody.
Plays a lot of Overwatch on there.
I'm surprised he doesn't have a lot of followers. If he actually tried, he could, because his hair is ridiculously good at games.
And I'm amazed I'm actually decent at Heroes of the Storm.
What is Heroes of the Storm?
Alright, so do you know what League of Legends is?
Yeah.
Alright, so Heroes of the Storm is Blizzard's version of that.
Is it like a dumbed down version of it or something? Like a less complicated? Or just
not necessarily.
Different?
They got rid of the items, so you don't build an item set like weapons that increase your stats.
Mm-hmm.
You pick a skill tree as you go. So each character has a little bit different options every time you level.
Okay.
And then there's NPCs on the map as well. Like, you can take a camp.
Oh, that's weird.
And then when you beat the camp, they become part of your team and attack across a line, like one of the lanes.
Are there 3 lanes?
Not always. They switch
different
it up.
Maps?
Yeah. And then there's other cool things, like, so Heroes of the Storm is based all around other Blizzard games.
Mm-hmm.
So the characters are either from StarCraft, Warcraft, Overwatch, any of those.
So they actually pluck characters from Blizzard games and put them in this
Right.
game.
So you can play as Luthor or Thrall or any of those.
That's kind of cool.
And so the maps are related to that as well. So, there's a StarCraft map where you can pick up nukes and drop them on the defenses so they can't attack you anymore.
Sounds like they did the Blizzard thing and kind of added a little bit of like humor to it.
Right.
Made it a little
And
more loosey-goosey.
It's really nice, and the graphics, in my opinion, are better than League.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody I know has switched off of League and started playing Heroes of the Storm. Now, don't get me wrong, it's only because they redid it. Their first version was hot garbage.
They came out with a beta that everyone hated or something?
Well, they released a version that everybody hated.
Shit. So this is like Heroes of the Storm 2?
Yeah, it's actually called Heroes of the Storm 2.0.
Huh.
And they're doing a big push to try to get people to play it, and there are a lot of people playing.
They didn't know the first one was a beta until people were like, what is this garbage?
Yeah. It didn't play well. It was too much of a clone. Like they didn't try to separate themselves out very well.
They didn't have their own flavor.
Right.
I
like
get
it was still Blizzard characters, but it wasn't.
Are you still trying to destroy the opponent's like base or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. And why is that called MOBA? What's MOBA stand for again?
That's a good question.
Multiplayer Online Battle Arena? Is that what it is?
I think.
Did I just come up with that out of my butt?
You did. It's multiplayer online.
Holy shit! I don't even play these games. Why do I know what MOBA stands for?
That's funny.
I don't know. I couldn't get into League. Like, I get why people are addicted to League, but that's my whole thing. It's hard for me to get addicted to video games. I don't know what it is.
That's understandable. I didn't like League at all. Then again, I wasn't very good at League, and for some reason, I'm very good at this one.
Yeah.
Randomly, because like I said, I don't play this style game very often, and Evan always makes fun of me for being terrible at games, and my second game ever in Heroes of the Storm, he's like, Corey, how are you randomly good at this game? And I'm like, I don't know, but we're going to ride this success as long as it lasts.
It might just be like you're more on par with everyone else, and you just happen to, for whatever reason, be good at this one.
Well,
like,
I also
League's hard to compare to other people that have been playing forever.
Right. And, like, there's another MOBA called Smite. Which is really good. And it's on, like I play it on PS4, and it's free to play.
Uh-huh.
And Heroes of the Storm reminds me a little bit more of Smite. And I played the hell out of some Smite. So I think that might have helped.
Smite might have helped?
Yeah, and Smite, what I love is Smite, its characters are exclusively mythological gods.
That I was going to ask that. Makes sense. That's kind of cool.
And the funny part is there's some crossover there with League, because League bases some of their characters on mythological gods but changes their names.
Yeah, I get it.
So like there's Wukong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's his name in League, and in Smite he's Sun Wukong, because that was his actual Chinese mythology name. And like in League there's Akalia, and they call her Kali in Smite, because that was Kali from I think that's Hindu lore, or that's actually someone they still pray to or whatever.
I think
Hindus are still around.
One of the things I get annoyed with newer video games is everything becomes so complicated.
Right.
Like with League of Legends, you have like, what is it, like 30 characters to choose from?
More than that now.
Like, it's a ridiculous amount to choose from.
Right.
You have to kind of know a little bit about everybody, because if you face this person, or they have like, don't they have like you draft and the other person drafts a person?
Right,
like
and you
counter
can ban.
picks? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to know about these people. So it's like you have to dig deep into these games. They don't. It seems like even on phone apps, because I've tried to download some phone games and play them. They don't like. There's not enough like just simplified, like you can pick up and go with this games.
Right.
Like, you know, like that's one of the reasons I think I like simpler games. Like you could pick up Mario
and just play.
Yeah, you just okay. I have to jump over this shit. That's like half of the game right there.
Until you get into some of was it Mario 64 that was kind of open world.
And that's when I stopped playing.
Yeah.
Mario 64 is the last one I played.
for the Switch, they have an open world Mario game coming out, and like
Exactly.
Zelda is open world,
It
and
just
I love
gets-
the new Zelda game, but at one point I was just like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go next.
that's how I feel with all new games. Is I'm just like, I look at it and go, too much going on. My brain cannot take this. I'm moving on. Like Halo, that's the problem they're having now. Is it started so simple and they keep on having to add stuff. So now Halo's gotten so complicated with armor picks and your grenade packs and your armor pack and this pack.
Yeah, and whatever your stupid loadout is, like whether you want a hologram to go out or you
Yeah.
lock down your armor.
That's your armor ability. Yeah.
Yeah, I just... Halo was just supposed to be a simple...
Yeah. Exactly. I want the purity has gone away in a lot of video games.
I do have to say, like, when I had my Xbox One, I loved the remastered that came out, where they 1, 2, and 3, maybe 4,
Mm-hmm.
all on one disc that you could... Like, it had new graphics, or you could press a single button and it instantly switched back to original graphics. And so, like, at any given time, I could accidentally hit a button and be looking at, 2004
Old school.
graphics.
That's weird. Halo 3 is probably the best out of all of them.
I would
That was a
say,
good one.
yeah, that or 2. 2 is what I played the most.
Yeah. I think
Before-
4, 3 might be the one I played the most, actually. 3 or 4.
I didn't like 4, and I never bought 5, so...
Yeah. 4 was good, but that's when it started to get all the complicated armor abilities and all that. And then they had all these maps, and they started adding maps, and then changing the maps they already had. And once that started happening, I'm like, dude, I just memorized all these maps, and now you're fucking
Right.
changing all of them. Like, it's too annoying for me.
The problem is they're trying to attract the Call of Duty crowd. And I'm just like, nah, I'm good. Like, I don't play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like, I've played it in the past, but I don't like their fighting system. I don't like the fact that I can win the game by building a fast character with a knife rather than,
Yeah.
what have you.
That's the
And then
problem, indeed.
All of a sudden, Halo starts looking more and more like...
Yeah.
And then the Modern Warfares and whatever the Ghosts and the new ones started looking a lot like Halo.
Yeah.
And so the new Call of Duty is going to be World War II again, I think.
Yeah.
So it's going to go back to less techie nonsense. So it could be good.
Hmm.
But I'm willing to bet there's going to be like a battle shovel or a trench knife that's
Shield
still
strap.
going to be able to wreck face. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, and that's the problem with you have all these Halo fans, and your goal is to get more Call of Duty fans. Now you're going to lose the Halo fans because you're
Right.
getting rid of the purity of Halo.
And the best thing to come out of Halo, Red versus Blue.
That's very true. They probably do they still do a fucking show?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they're on season, I think, 17. now.
Holy shit.
And the production value has gone through the roof.
Well, they purposely put things in so Red versus Blue could actually make
Right.
scenes and
And-
cutscenes and shit, right?
And in Halo 4 and 5, the voice actors from Red vs. Blue were actually in the game.
That's
And-
awesome.
There was an Easter egg in 4 that if you shot something, you actually heard a clip from the original Red vs. Blue.
The original was... It's so odd, but it is so well written for what it is.
Yeah. And what I love is, so it's Rooster Teeth who does it.
Uh-huh.
They're huge. They're one of the... They're the longest running YouTube channel in existence. And they do
Really?
so much more than just... Red vs. Blue is the longest running...
Was it what started them
YouTube
was Red
show.
versus Blue?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so now they also have a show called Ruby and a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, I'm on their website now, and there's, on first glance, at least 25 shows here that are just their stuff.
Huh.
And so there's Red vs. Blue. I'll see what series they're on.
That's kind of interesting that they're such a big program still.
And they did a movie last year.
What?
A year and a half ago. Not a Red versus Blue movie, just the guys who started Rooster Teeth have always wanted to do a movie. So they did a crowdfunding through Kickstarter, and before Broken Lizard did their Super Troopers 2, Rooster Teeth was the quickest funded movie ever. Like, they hit their goal in like 3 days.
That's awesome.
And then they surpassed their goal by like another 1.5 million.
So they have a super huge fan base.
Oh yeah,
Dedicated.
So much so you know what PAX is, right? Like
Yeah.
the Penny Arcade one.
PAX East or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So that all started from the webcomic and the whole video game culture.
Yeah.
Rooster Teeth has its own convention now in the United States, Europe, and Australia.
Holy fuck, that's crazy.
And they have several subsets now. Like Rooster Teeth is the company, and then there's a group called Achievement Hunter that plays games, and they're funny. But now they have road tours where they go play games in arenas, and people just watch their antics while they play games.
Wow, that's crazy. Such a whole nother culture for me.
Right. It's funny. Like, I watch their shows when I'm at work. Like, I'll put my laptop up and just have it on and listening in the ear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll have to stop every once in a while because I'm like, oh, that's just, I'm laughing too loud.
Oh, dude, speaking of that, you said QI was on YouTube, like all the episodes. I found one that has all the episodes, but you have to be like a London... damn, it's fucking thundering out there. You have to be like a different server or whatever. They say, like, we can't show this in your area because of copyright.
Was it? Oh, so it was a legitimate one. I will link you the guy I have that just posts them that's not legitimate at all.
Yeah, hook me up with that, because I want to watch them in order. It's not like you have to, but I kind of want to.
Right.
Just to see, like, the evolution of the show itself. I love that show.
The first episode, like the pilot, is completely different from the rest of the shows.
Yeah, I've seen the first four 4A episodes.
Yeah.
They're still funny. Alan Davis is so funny.
And he's on the entire series.
Yeah, he's on like all of them except like 2 or 3 episodes or something silly. I'm sad that Stephen Fry has left.
Yeah, but the lady that they replaced him with in the few episodes I've seen with her is funny.
Yeah, she was a guest.
On the show a lot.
Yeah. She's a very good replacement because she has that Stephen Fry sort of vibe of being like that smart elderly person that's wise and has all this knowledge, but also is funny.
Right.
So it has a similar vibe to Stephen Fry. But I'm mad that Stephen Fry, he quit, I think it was L, which is like the 12th season.
Right.
Instead of 13, he couldn't end like midway. There was like one before like the middle. Like, come on, man. Just for like symmetry's sakes, do 13 seasons. Did you send me that link?
I'm looking right now at my YouTube subscriptions. Hang on.
I'm so addicted to that show, though. It's so good. It's like, did you ever read Bathroom Readers or any of those?
Yeah.
It's like that. Just watching a bathroom reader with funny people. Well, we need to get more people for next one, because I got a couple of games that we can play again. Try out that, and we definitely need to do D&D. I get a lot of people saying, like, that the D&D episode was funny.
Well, that's because we're awesome.
Yeah, it was hilarious. We got a good DM and a good crowd to play off of Harry.
Alright, linking you now. There's a couple that are marked as private for some reason, but for the most part it's got the entire series on it.
Fuck yeah. I need this in my life.
And speaking of Stephen Fry, I'm very upset with Audible over the fact
For Harry Potter or something?
Yeah.
What?
You can't get in the United States through Audible the Stephen Fry recorded Harry Potter books. You can only get Dale something.
What? Who would want that?
So I booted up my VPN and I connected to Amazon.co.uk from within the UK, and I would have to create, and I'm not above doing this, by the way, create a new email account, sign up for Amazon again, and buy them through Amazon, and just lie and say I'm a citizen of the UK so I can get Stephen Fry's. Because otherwise, to get it in the United States, it would cost me £60, which is probably like $75 per book.
Damn, seriously?
Yeah. And it's a big thing all over the internet. Like, I was Googling it, and they're essentially like, the contract we signed said we would only sell it in the UK. That was our mistake. So we hired somebody else to record the US versions.
Wow. Dude, the link you sent me was just to the QI channel. Like the little QI channel. And that just has clips from every season.
Alright, hang on. I might have brought up the wrong one then.
Yeah, this just has like a bunch of clips. I'm already subscribed to this one.
There's the problem with having 1 million subscriptions.
YouTube's like a recent thing for me. Like, I never was like a big YouTuber. But recently I'm more entertained by YouTube than I am by things that are on regular TV, for the most part. Like H3H3, he entertains me more than anybody else that's on TV.
And I watch a lot of Cracked and I'm looking at my subscribers here. Cinema Sins, I love that channel. Team 4 Star, still watching the hell out of Dragon Ball Z Abridged.
You would.
Dude, they still have it on there, so they keep putting out episodes.
Oh, they haven't finished it?
No, like, they're in the middle of Cell Saga. Like, Goku just started his fight with Cell.
That literally means nothing to me. I have no idea. I've never watched Dragon Ball Z. Did I just commit a sin?
No.
Because
it was... If you weren't into it as a kid, it's hard to jump into it.
Exactly. I wasn't into it. I never bothered watching it. And then by the time I was like, maybe I should watch it. Someone was like, oh, yeah, there's like 300 episodes and a lot of them drag on. I'm like, not gonna get into that.
So they fixed that a little bit by putting out what's called Dragon Ball Z Kai, which was an officially made version, like not fan-made, but the actual people who made the show did it, where they cut out 90% of the filler. And then that ended early. Like, it didn't go all the way past one of the sagas.
Oh, shit, they didn't even finish it.
And then Abridged their plan is to go all the way to the end of Dragon Ball Z. And they really, really cut out nonsense, and then they completely changed some characters to make it funny.
Huh. That's interesting, considering, like, I feel like I've heard about Abridged for a while, so...
Yeah. Well, they've been on forever.
Yeah. So that just shows... That reiterates how much Dragon Ball Z there is. Too much.
No such thing.
Too much Dragon Ball Z.
Especially, they just brought Dragon Ball back with, there's, what's it called now? Dragon Ball Super.
Dragon Ball S?
Probably. And, like, they go into God mode and all this nonsense.
Oh, man. So, what I know from Dragon Ball Z is I know Piccolo, I know Goku, and I know the line over 9,000. And going Super Saiyan.
Right. Which is your basic...
I can't extrapolate on a lot of what I just said. Those are just terminologies I am aware of. And Piccolo is green.
Piccolo is green. There's way too much story for me to tell you all of it.
Yeah, I don't need to know this.
Right. If you enjoyed it as a kid, you would love it now just because it's good.
Yeah, I would get that, but just couldn't get into it. The amount that was necessary for me to watch to see the whole series was too much by the time I was at the age where I wanted to watch it.
Right. And, like, I tried watching this original sequel to Dragon Ball Z, which was Dragon Ball GT, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, it was... so terrible that the people who produced it ignored it when they went to make the new one. Like, they're like, we're just gonna pretend nobody ever published that.
That is no longer canon.
Right.
Let's get rid of that.
So if you go to the one I just sent you and just click videos...
Yeah, I
they're
saw
all
that.
in there.
There's a lot.
It's intermixed with, like, Mock the Week, which is a really good show, and I think there's some, never mind, like, Buzzcocks in there, too.
Yeah, I saw it was just, like, basically a British channel. Which is cool. I might end up watching some other shit. Alright, man. I think that's a good time to end it after Dragon Ball
Yeah.
ZSGT Abridged, and I'm missing one. Kai. Too much Dragon Ball fucking Z. Have they made like an official Dragon Ball Z movie? It seemed like they did.
Oh, Sony made one that was the worst abomination ever.
Was it live action?
It was live action. it was whitewashed.
Oh, that's so fucking funny.
Have you ever watched Shameless?
Yeah.
Alright, so the boyfriend that's the car thief in Shameless, that's Goku. That super white kid is Goku.
Oh my.
It was bad. And the bad guy's Piccolo, and they give no backstory on why he's a bad guy. He's an ancient evil, and that's all they say.
Hollywood is just not good about taking any kind of anime and turning it into a live action movie.
Right.
They've never been able to do it.
I haven't seen Ghost in the Shell yet, but I've heard it's not the greatest.
I will say Ghost in the Shell was good, but you should just watch the anime.
Right. Or the 17 remakes of the anime.
Is there really that many remakes?
They've remade it twice, and then there's a bunch of sequels that they don't number them or anything, and I'm not putting the effort into researching the order I'm supposed to read them in.
That's probably a good option. Probably a good idea. Alright, man. Well, I'll talk at you later. Hopefully we can get a D&D session in here soon.
It was. Keep bugging Harry.
Yeah. Alright, later, man.
Bye. I forgot to turn my recording off, so if you actually listen to this far in, haha on both of us.